All right, let's get to our metal six pack.
All right, here it is. So
hopefully there's numbers.
There are numbers
in order. So this one was my idea, given that our guests are Dream Theater, who are known for very long, epic songs. So I came up with the idea that we should do our 6 favorite epic songs, the criteria being that the song has to be 7 minutes long or longer in running time. So who starts, Joe?
So it'll go Mr. Florentine, Mr. Jamieson, and Mr. Trunk.
He won't stop calling us Mister.
I know. I just accept it at this point.
Yeah, I know.
At least he's not calling me Mrs., so I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's allowed to in this day and age,
That's why you grew the beard, to alleviate any confusion.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want him to call me Mrs. Florentine, so I said if I got the beard, he's going to have to say Mr. But then again, I could still be a Mrs. and have a beard.
True.
All right, number 6, I'm going to go with Stairway to Heaven. I'm not a fan of this song. It's played out too much. I was never a huge fan of it to begin with, but you have to put it on the list. I don't know how long it is, or like 8 minutes or something like that, but that's my number 6.
All right, my number 6 is, this is painful, by the way, because there are so many great epic songs, but
I know.
I tried to, like Jim, I tried to pick some legendary ones. I stayed away from, I do have a Zeppelin on my list. It is not Stairway to Heaven, but at number 6, first one that came into my mind was Judas Priest, Victim of Changes. Man, when I heard that live on Unleashed in the East, and that sold me. That cemented my love. The studio version's okay, but the live one is just completely out of this world. So that's my number 6.
I had that and I knocked it out because you're right, Don. It's so crazy. This was 1,000 times harder than I thought it would be, because there are that many great songs that are 7 or longer. And I actually looked up the running time on Victim of Change, and it's like 7:06.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll leave that off. That's my excuse. It's only 6 seconds over. My number 6 is a band that I absolutely love from the last 10, 15 years, for me at least, that I got into them, and that's Alter Bridge, and one of their all-time epic songs, which is the title track to that album right there, their second album, Blackbird. If you know this band, if you know that song, I think Guitar World or something dubbed it one of the great guitar epics of the last 20 years, but also an amazing song. So when I think epic, I just think of a song like this. So Blackbird for me is number 6.
All right, number 5 for me is off the Black Sabbath Sabotage record, Megalomania. There's two on here I could have taken. The Writ, I could have taken that too. Is 8 minutes and 17 seconds, but I took Megalomania. One of my favorite Sabbath songs of all time. Sabbath's going through some shit with lawyers, are getting sued. They were completely broke. Their management took all their money, and it was just an angry album, and just Ozzy just railing. And Ozzy actually wrote the lyrics to this. I was listening to Geezer's book. He said Ozzy wrote it because he was so angry that he came up with the lyrics, how just what pissed off he was about the record industry and them being broke after 5 albums. So Megalomania is number 5.
All right, I'm staying in the new wave of British heavy metal with my number 5, and that's Iron Maiden, Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Mm-hmm.
Could
have done about 25 Maiden songs that fit this category.
Yeah, absolutely. And because Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner as well, that was really the first one I thought of. But then I picked Hallowed because our friend Brian Slagle from Metal Blade would never talk to me again if I didn't put this one specifically on the list. So that's my number 5.
All right. Quick shout out about Sabbath. Tony Iommi on my radio show live tomorrow. Everybody be sure to tune in. The Founding Father coming on Trunk Nation. Number 5 for me is a song that's probably a bit played out, but again, a song when I think epic is as epic as it gets. Piano, extended guitar break, on and on and on. Massive, super huge budget video for its time. And that's November Rain from Guns N' Roses. Remarkable that a song this long with this many parts to it could be a bona fide hit single as well. It's like a modern Stairway to Heaven. So I put November Rain, even though I'm kind of burnt on it, it's just undeniable. So I put it at 5.
I forgot all about that song. That was a good one to put in there. I mean, Paradise City might even be 7 minutes, or maybe not, that might
Probably.
be under. But all right, number
Coma.
4.
There's a lot of gun songs from Illusions too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that are long.
My number 4 is the first side of the Rush 2112 album. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. That's what made me get into Rush. Just that whole side was fucking phenomenal. I noticed all these preludes and all these weird shit going on, but basically, that's one long song.
And it's the record. It's the record that saved the band too. How crazy is that? They needed to have a hit record, so they made a record that one side was a song, and it did it. It saved them. Crazy.
Good. I'm glad you put that in there, Jim, because I took Rush off my list, unfortunately, because I figured one of you guys would put that in there. My number 4 is I'm going to Zepp on number 4, Achilles' Last Stand.
Oh.
What? Now that's an epic
that.
song from beginning to end.
I forgot too. Damn.
In My Time of Dying was close, but the Achilles is just, it's unbelievable. So yeah, number 4 right there.
Present, such an underrated record, and I totally forgot about that song. And you're right, you could have done In My Time of Dying. There's a good amount of Zeppelin ones. Obviously, we could have done Rush, 20 Rush songs that would fit this category. All right, so my number 4 is Master Puppets, Metallica. I mean, again, the biggest song they had at that time, clocking in at over 8 minutes long. You got the breakdown with the guitar solo, all the different parts to it. I mean, what else can you say? One of the all-time landmark bands, and probably still their signature song, in my opinion. So Puppets is at 4.
My number 3 is what Don was, I guess, number 5, Iron Maiden, Hallowed Be Thy Name. You have to throw it in there. I mean, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, even though that's like 18 minutes long or whatever it is, or 14.
13, yeah.
13. I couldn't put, I mean, Hallowed Be Thy Name is the track if you're going to take one from Maiden. So that's my number 3.
Revelations could have been there too. I don't know how long that is for sure, but that's probably just over 7 too.
Yeah, To Tame a
I
Lamb.
looked it up. Hallowed is about 7:20, so it's not that much over 7, but it makes it.
Yeah, no, that has to be on the list. And then I went with Jim's Sabbath pick with Megalomania. It's the better of the two epics on Sabotage. Damn, I wish I would have picked the Writ now, but there it is. Jim said it all. At number 3, Black Sabbath, Megalomania.
All right, my number 3, and just so the audience knows, we don't know what everybody's picking. We don't consult on this, so we find out right now with everybody. But as usual, some overlap here because my number 3 is 2112 from Rush. You could have done a million Rush songs. I was thinking of Xanadu. I was thinking of La Via Strangiato. I was thinking of Jacob's Ladder. There's so many that I love that are epic Rush songs. But you got to go with a song that was literally a whole side of a record. And also, like I said, a song that saved the band when they needed it. So 2112 for me at number 3.
My number 2 is the opening track off the Black Sabbath Volume 4 record, Wheels of Confusion. Nice. Phenomenal. I mean, just to open a record with a track that's almost 9 minutes long, all these different changes in the song. It's one of my favorite Sabbath songs, so that's my number 2.
All right, number 2, Thin Lizzy, Black Rose, a rock legend. The guitar playing at the end of that, the back and forth between Gary Moore and Scott Gorham is just...
Say their names again, Don.
Scott Gorham and Gary Moore. That trade-off back and forth at the end is just phenomenal. Phil's lyrics, about the old Irish king and all that stuff, just an absolute Celtic classic. So that's my number 2.
Great call there. My number 2 is it's come up on all 3 of our lists, and it is indeed Hallowed Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden. What else can we say? There's many, many Maiden epics, but that is not only a great epic, but a great song closing out Number of the Beast at number 2. Our guests are standing by, so let's finish up our number 1s.
My number 1 is Metallica, Master of Puppets. I have to put that as the greatest, longest song of all time. So enough said with that one.
All right, my number 1 is the greatest rock riff ever written, Stranglehold by Uncle
goodness.
Ted.
Damn.
You hear, as soon as you hear that song, you have to. It's like when Shawshank Redemption comes on TV. You try to watch 10 minutes, you end up watching the whole thing. When Stranglehold comes on, you hear that riff, you got to listen to the whole song. So that's my number one, Ted Nugent, Stranglehold.
So many Sabbath ones I could have went to. My mind went to the Dio stuff. Obviously, Heaven and Hell, Sign of the Southern Cross, endless amazing songs. The Ozzy stuff, I thought of the Writ. But then I started thinking about Sabbath, and I started thinking about that period, and I started thinking about Dio, and I had to go with my number one, Rainbow Stargazer from the Rising album. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, as great as a piece of music gets, Ronnie's vocal is absolutely ridiculous right to the very end when he's singing over the fade. And yeah, I mean, it's just, when I think epic and grand, I think Stargazer by Rainbow. So that's my number one.